Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Radio Free Decipher. This is the 101st episode spectacular.
Right. it just ceases to be spectacular if it's spectacular every week.
I guess so. You know, it was really funny. Evan and I, after we recorded last week's episode, we decided, you know what, I don't think many of these things are going to be funny for anybody but us.
I was sure of it, actually.
And we actually talked to somebody on the phone that basically said, yeah, I didn't really get a lot of that. Maybe it's funnier to you guys, which completely confirmed our suspicions. So I'm sorry for imposing all of that on you guys.
I was actually in a chat room that I go to with a couple of players that hang out there, and one of them says to me, oh yeah, my wife said it was cute. And I said, oh, well, I'll have to tell Kevin it's cute when he burps, you know.
Oh,
but,
no.
So maybe that didn't go over so well. So we're going to go back to normal this
anyways,
week.
We're very embarrassed, and thank you for all still tuning in to us. So what do we got to talk about today?
We have lots of little news to relay right up front here, and then we've got a couple of interviews coming up at the end related to Lord of the Rings, so stay on the line for that.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, big announcement this last Wednesday.
Yes, on Wednesday we rolled out the Lord of the Rings fan club.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
The cool thing is you can go right now and join up for the Lord of the Rings fan club at LOTRfanclub.com, and there's some really cool stuff going on there. If you can get your name in the DVD, in actually all three of the DVDs for the three movies, and you can find out those details there. You can also win tickets to the London premiere of Lord of the Rings. I want to go.
Yeah,
I want to go.
Then join the fan club.
Yeah, I should, huh?
Yeah.
Actually, I believe that you can sign up to win tickets to the Lord of the Rings fan club without actually becoming a member. Of course, you know, we want you to become a member, but, no purchase necessary type thing. So
all the details are there on the website.
That's right. So please take a moment, go there, check it out, look at all the cool stuff. We've got, there's going to be a bi-monthly magazine, so you can get all your Lord of the Rings information. The first issue, I guess, of the magazine has interviews with Elijah Wood and Peter Jackson, which is pretty cool stuff. So
I've actually read a couple of the articles that are
really?
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, our longtime standing favorite guest host on RFD, Francis LaLumiere, is the editor-in-chief, I believe, of that magazine. So
he and John Snyder, we've also had on the show before.
That's right.
Also heavily involved with the magazine there. Good material.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Coming up within the next few weeks, what do we got?
Reflections 3, of
It's
course.
like right upon us, isn't it?
Basically,
2 weeks?
Yeah, it comes out on Halloween. That's so good. And as many of you have seen, we have Reflections 3 pre-releases going on all over the country. Check out Decipher.com for those details. And it's going to be really good. I can't wait for the set. Those defensive shields looks like they're going to, really do a number on the play environment.
I still can't get over how strange they look. It almost looks like a few misprint weapons I've had before, or misprint starships where the color's just slightly off.
It's a little weird of a color,
it's
but
just an adjustment.
You get used to it.
It fits because it's something totally new.
Yep, absolutely, and it kind of goes along. They determine the name defensive shields from like the Gungan energy weapons and stuff, and so it kind of fits with that motif with me. So kind of cool.
Good all the way around.
Excellent. We also, in case those of you that play Star Wars Episode 1 tournaments haven't seen the news yet, the Darth Maul with stick and Qui-Gon with stick foils have been sent out.
Dan is on it.
Yes, he is, and so you should start seeing those in your mailbox very soon for those of you that want them.
And you should start seeing them on eBay soon after.
Yes, I'm sure that'll happen. So
I wouldn't get rid of mine. They look too cool.
Yeah, they are very cool. Very cool stuff. So, and they're going to be good in my decks, I'm sure. Other news, Essen started yesterday.
Yeah.
The Essen Game Faire in Germany. Marcus Shepard, Dominic Vermandere, I always butcher Dominic, yeah. And I believe Yuri is one of the key people over there. They're all helping out, running that show this weekend. So they're teaching everybody and anybody Lord of the Rings. And and we've already gotten some communication from them that people are gobbling it up. People love it so much. They have 18 people there demoing Lord of the Rings for 8 hours, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and they're just swamped.
Well, I would believe it because, we went to Essen last year, and I remember, I how big the Lord of the Rings board game that was showing up there for the first time was. So I can only imagine that there's just a mob at the booth there.
It's got to be fantastic. And they're also doing some other things. They're doing a Reflections 3 pre-release there this weekend.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think they're doing 2 of them, as a matter of fact. So that's pretty cool.
So if you're anywhere near there, you really must go.
Oh, yes, you must. All right, I think that's going to do it for our news. Let's get to the interviews.
We have 2 interviews joining us. We have the quote-unquote evil taskmaster, Tim Ellington of the TCG Design Studio. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah?
Although I do protest being called the evil.
All right. That's
well,
maybe unfair.
You got that wonderful title from one of your own team members, I believe. Chuck, if I remember correctly?
That might be right, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a thing that Chuck would do. But you got it because you are basically the driving force behind the TCG Studio, if I'm correct.
Wow. Tall order.
I don't know about all that.
Tell people what your job is, for those who may not know.
What my job is now is I help with scheduling and approvals and trying to make sure that all of the things that we're doing get done on time, that get done right, that are ready to go out the door, and help meet our schedule, help meet our distribution schedule, release schedule, all that kind of stuff.
You said work on approvals and stuff. Explain that a little bit more.
Well, right now I'm one of the primary contacts with Lucasfilm, Paramount, New Line Cinemas, any of the people that we have major licenses with when we need to get cards or
images,
packages, images, any kind of resources like that. I work with the studios to get approval and resources in for the games that we make.
Wow, so now with Lord of the Rings, then you've seen some pretty cool stuff, I'm assuming.
Yeah, some pretty cool stuff. I had a chance to go to New York and Los Angeles to the offices in both those cities to look through their photo library of all of the photos that were taken during the production of the movies.
Wow.
So I've seen tens of thousands of photographs of the movie in production. And it's pretty incredible.
Now, this is not just the first movie either, then.
No, I've seen some stuff from movie 2 and movie 3.
Wow.
Mostly by accident, but some stuff from movie 2 and movie 3.
Great.
Some people would very much like to be you.
Yeah, well, it's good and it's bad.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of surprise left in the film for me.
Sure.
Because I've seen a lot of the shots and a lot of the scenes, but I haven't seen anything moving yet other than what we've, most anybody's seen on a trailer. So I haven't seen it all in sequence yet. So that's going to be, kind of interesting. And a lot of the shots, Peter's using some fairly significant CGI in the film, and the photos that I saw were primarily just that, photographs off the set. So a lot of the elaborate backgrounds, a lot of CG stuff.
Incomplete.
The Balrog, for instance. I've never seen a Balrog. Because
really?
I don't take photographs of the Balrog because that's something that's going to be in the finished product.
They're not photogenic.
They're not very. They're kind of like vampires. They just don't show up very well in film.
Right.
So, while I've seen a lot, there's still a lot that's going to be new.
Sure.
So it's not like I've seen the whole thing. But I know what all the characters look like. I know what most of the scenes look like. I know what It's kind of interesting too because a lot of the photos in their library aren't just shots of the movie. They're behind-the-scenes shots too. And you're flipping through books and books of pictures, and you see all the ring race, and you're kind of getting into the feel of the movie, and you're seeing all these shots, and all of a sudden you see a ring race sitting on a Gatorade cooler.
Right, drinking a coffee or something.
So, that kind of takes you out of the moment a little bit. But, it was really neat, and it was something I enjoyed doing a lot.
How intimately were you involved in the development of the game?
Well, it depends on really what you're considering the game. I didn't do a lot of gameplay for Lord of the Rings. In fact, I think I wrote 2 cards in the whole set. And but I was very involved with the image selections for the cards. So most of the images in the set, either I or Dan Burns, the art director, selected for the card. So I feel like I had a lot of input in the way the game looks and feels. But I didn't have a whole lot of game development for Lord of the Rings. I play tested some, and did some review stuff and worked with the guys pretty closely. But as far as actually developing the gameplay, which I think is pretty incredible, by the way, almost all of that credit goes to Tom and Chuck and Mike and Justin. Those guys, those four really, did the lion's share of all of the development work on that.
Any chance of you stepping into more of a design role with coming sets, or are you continuing to be the sort of resource puppet master?
Well, it depends. The position I'm in now is sort of a new position for us. And as Evan knows, it's a little bit different for how we do things in the TCG studio. And until we get things a little more organized and a little better, run and everything in place, probably I'm going to be doing more of administrative kinds of things and card writing. But I'm not giving up card writing by any means. In fact, I'm going to come out of retirement and do some Chula dilemmas for the next Star Trek set. So.
The mastermind behind the Chula dilemma.
Excellent. Yeah, but I do plan on getting back into a more active role in the actual game development. But we had a need for some organizational type things, and especially bringing in a whole new property like Lord of the Rings. We literally have thousands of images that have to be archived and documented. We have more actor approval issues with Lord of the Rings than we had with any of the other properties we've dealt with so far. And that's pretty, when you've got 14 or 15 people to deal with actor approval, and you have to send shots to New Line, and New Line has to send them to the agents, and all that stuff has to come back through. Right. You've got a 300 card set, and how many times does Boromir appear on a card? Not just a Boromir card, but any card that has Boromir. I've got to make sure that there's not any approval issues with those, and it just takes a lot of overhead. So it's time consuming, but it's fun. But it's still not writing cards, which I do hope to get back to eventually.
Right. So now that the premiere set is on press, your role there is probably finished just about.
You would think.
You would think,
but not necessarily. Well, even though the cards are printing, or a lot of them are already done, we still have a lot of approval issues. Packaging, for instance, the flow wraps, the display boxes, the deluxe starter boxes, posters, advertisements, all those things that are now in full swing for a marketing standpoint, still have some approval issues that we have to go through. We still have to make sure that we're getting the right resources out to some of the magazines that want to put cards in their with the stories that they're doing on the game. So even though the cards are done, the development or the all of the actual job part of it is still in full swing. So, it'll probably roll on for a while still until you actually, get cards out on the 6th and open up a box. Then we'll be done with it.
You won't be done, man, because you're already starting, I'm sure, to work on the Mines Moria set that comes out early next year.
Yeah, development for that's already underway, and then we're trying to go ahead and map out, what we're going to be doing for the next 2 sets. In fact, as I'm sure a lot of people know, we've already set the production schedule for the first 9 sets to coincide with the 3 movie releases. And despite some people's perception, it's not just 9 sets. We will be going much past that.
Sure.
But we've already set the schedule for those first 9. So there's some planning involved in that. I've got to start looking at what we're going to do for acquiring all the resources for the 2 towers. We're in a unique situation with New Line where all 3 movies have been filmed, but we don't have the resources for all those movies yet because they haven't finished, obviously, stuff. Or they're still working on the Fellowship of the Ring, so they haven't really focused on the 2 towers. But there are some resources there to be gotten. So we've got to start coordinating, getting those in-house and cataloged. And, it's a monumental task when I think about it.
And that's just Lord of the Rings.
And that's just Lord of the Rings. That's not counting Star Trek. That's not counting YJ or Jedi Knights or Star Wars or any of the other things that are they're all still in active development right now.
And because of all these reasons, because we have all these resources here at Decipher, that's one of the reasons why we have such tight security. People, when they come here, they have to sign in, they have to be escorted, they can't go to certain floors, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. We do have, in fact, this may not be an overstatement in that we may have more Lord of the Rings material here than anybody else outside of New Line Cinemas. I do think that we have more film resources than any of the other licensees at this point.
I bet, yeah.
So it's a fairly significant issue for us to make sure that those things are very well kept.
Right, because none of the other licensees are really pulling images from the movie the way that we are. I mean, for instance, the Topps cards, those are mostly, I believe, marketing approved images and things like that. They're like, they're not from the corners of the movie. How we use images.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I don't know exactly what Topps or any of the other licensees that might be using the images got, but as far as the volume and the selection of things that came from the actual movie footage, I think by far we have a lot more than a lot of the people, and we were lucky. And we worked with New Line to try to get that because we really wanted the game to come across portraying the feel of the movie. And some of the people at New Line that I've worked with, John Mayo in particular, have been very good to work with. They've been very accommodating for us. They've given us a chance to do what we really wanted to do with the movie, and the relationship with them has been just phenomenal. And it's going to come across in the game. I think people are really going to notice the quality of the shots, and they're really going to see a representative game of the movie, I think.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, you got Chula doing this tonight.
Yes, I did.
Thanks so much for stopping by and
no
talking
problem.
with everybody today, and have fun upstairs looking through all those images. I'll be up there shortly.
Will do.
We turn now to Mr. Kevin Reitzel. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing?
Pretty busy, but you are equally busy. Tell us what you've been up to.
Well, as you know, I'm the Decipher's product champion coordinator.
Now, that's for all product champion groups, because
all of them.
Some people knew that it used to be divided. One guy would do the ambassadors, one guy would do the squadron members. Now you're it.
It's my bag.
You're the man.
Yep.
And in addition to that, the new Lord of the Rings champion
Lord of the
group.
Rings.
How many Lord of the Rings product champions do we have right now?
Currently, right now, we have about, I believe, around 215-ish.
Wow.
And I've got a lot more applications in that I'm seriously considering as well.
How can compare to about how many squadron members or ambassadors there are?
Ambassadors total, there's a little over 100. I don't have the exact number with me now. Squadron members, I believe, are around 230-ish.
This is an equally large force and growing.
Yes, definitely.
Outstanding.
And we're getting new people all the time, and we're getting people from all over the place. There's someone from Brazil.
Two people, actually.
Two people from Brazil.
And because there's a big Tolkien following down there.
Wow.
And I've gotten a couple more applications from the area as well, which is nice.
Okay.
Croatia.
Yeah. I even saw an application that I think I forwarded to Marcus Shepard and Dominic's application from Iceland.
Wow.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Very nice. So what has been the latest project for you and the volunteers?
Well, basically right now my main project has been with the Lord of the Rings guys. As you know, the release of the game is less than 3 weeks away.
Yes, less than 3 weeks away. That's crazy.
So that's been my number one priority right now. And one of the things we've been doing is getting out some promotional kits to these guys, which includes some demo decks for them to use. That was in the first kit.
Posters, shirts.
Yeah, well, that's what's going out in this next kit. So
cool.
we just got those out, and there's some good stuff in there for them to use for their promotion and demos to do with their players and their retailers.
All right.
Now, you said that it's and growing.
Yes.
Still looking to bring on lots of new people, huh?
Yes. Originally, we had a deadline of, I believe it was October 1st, to make sure that you get those applications in.
Okay.
And I'm still reviewing some of those. So just because some people haven't heard from me yet doesn't mean that they're still not going to be brought on in a day.
All right.
Because we still have a lot to go through, and I still expect more. So if anyone requests an application, just email me personally at kevin.reitzel@decipher.com, and I'll get you one.
Now, whereabouts exactly are we missing people? Like, what target areas are you really looking for? Can you name a few?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's interesting is that we've gotten a lot of applications from certain areas, and obviously we can't bring everyone on. But there's some key areas that we're looking at, like Albuquerque, New Mexico area, Vermont, New Hampshire area, Texas, Houston area, and Tennessee, Memphis area as well.
Okay.
There's some other states we'd like to hear from too. We'd like to get some from Idaho and Mississippi, Maine, stuff like that. So,
wow.
And regarding the European area, Marcus Shepard and Dominic, those are the main contact guys. So if if you're in that area and you wish to request an application, go ahead and contact those guys directly, and they'll help you out.
Marcus.Shepherd@Decipher.com.
That's with 2 P's in Shepherd,
Yeah.
for those of you who are
And Marcus
consideration.
also has been forwarding information directly to Dominic, too, so Dominic can take care of his area as well.
Now, what is your goal? How many product champions for Lord of the Rings would you like to see?
I'd like to get around 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we still got a little bit of a climb to go.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, this product champion core is only like what, 2 months old right now, and it's got 215 people.
Yeah, which is outstanding as far as I'm concerned. We got a huge response, and I'm getting all the applications and I'm printing them out, and just to let the European community know, any of the applications that I've been getting, I have been sending directly to Marcus, and you guys have probably been hearing from him directly.
Great.
All right.
Well, thanks so much, and you sound like a busy guy.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll let you get back to it as well.
Cool.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
So,
Sure.
take care.
That will conclude this installment of Radio Free Decipher.
Be sure and check back next week for all your Decipher info. Have a great weekend.